We had a few awesome trading setups this past week, and with that being said, let's get right into this week's Forex Forecast. So starting the forecast off with the DXY, the US dollar, the most important market in my opinion. You can see clearly we reacted off of weekly demand down below. Now I will be the first one to admit, since it was tested so much down here, I did not think we were going to get this positive reaction off of this zone. But I mean, it's been pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 5 weeks in a row of green on the dollar. So we cannot deny that strength. Although when we get the bigger picture outlook, it's not like we're looking at, something like this where it's a beautiful picture perfect looking weekly uptrend. Yes, we are coming off of the weekly demand, but there's really no trend here. We're just kind of going sideways. So there's no reason to get, too excited. But look, I cannot deny the fact that we are seeing strength and the fact that we could continue to go up here on the dollar. Although my long-term outlook is kind of bearish, like I said, I can't deny the strength. Now, if you've been watching my forecast video the last couple weeks, you can see we had this supply zone here. It was taken out. It took us long enough to really remove that supply. And when we did remove the supply, it was very, very aggressive. You can notice this very, very nice push up. Yes, there is a lot of trading in this area where this demand zone is located, but we cannot deny this demand zone. I mean, it's a classic, rally base rally demand zone. It's a very, very strong move away. Now, this is, in my opinion, this is going to be like the most important zone on the dollar for now, just like this was the most important zone on the dollar. So it is possible we do see some weakness in the DXY or just all dollar pairs to push down to this daily demand at 103.51, and then we get that push up, right? Although it's definitely possible we just push up from now. The idea is that, hey, maybe the institutions or the big players need to fill in some more of their buy orders at this demand zone that they created based on how we trade. So that is what I'm looking at here on the dollar. Now, how do we predict if we're going to go up or if we're going to go down to the demand zone first? We're going to take a look at the lower time frames and we will discuss that. But first, if we break this demand zone, at that point, I think it's safe to say we could be headed back down to like the 101 area down there. So just want to point that out as well. But for the meantime, how are we going to see if we're going to pull back down to that daily demand zone or not? Well, you can clearly see on the 4-hour chart, we have a pretty nice 4-hour uptrend. Clearly the highs are broken here, pushed up. Now the question is, are we going to rally up or obviously are we going to push down? Me personally, with this trend looking like this, it's not looking great. Like, this price action is not amazing. I think we could push down. If we look at the 1-hour chart, you can clearly see it's pretty much going sideways. I mean, yeah, there is some lower lows and stuff, but overall it is going sideways with a demand zone down here at 103.87. If we can remove this demand zone, that would pretty much give us a 1-hour downtrend, and that would be enough evidence for me to suggest that I think we are going to pull back down to that daily demand zone. I mean, even when we do break the 1-hour zone, we're right at that daily zone anyways. And at that point, then we can maybe switch our bias to long on the dollar. But for now, that's what I'm looking for here on the dollar, looking to see if we can retrace down to that daily demand. But in the meantime, the dollar is definitely looking strong. With the 4-hour trend to the upside, we could definitely be day trading long the dollar as well. On to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. Just a reminder, we are coming in for a second test off of this daily demand zone. We reacted off of it once back here, just barely. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit surprised to see such a positive reaction so far coming off of this daily demand zone. I honestly thought, I thought we would see a move off of the zone. I did think we were gonna push a little bit lower, kind of break below those lows there, maybe halfway through the zone. But honestly, a lot of strength right now in the euro. We have profit margin to the upside. I could see reasons for looking for longs here on the euro. I know I just said we could be looking for longs on the dollar, but that's the confusion of it right now, guys, where you have to pay attention. On the 1-hour chart, we have a 1-hour uptrend, okay? And that's as we come off of that daily demand. So when we have a 1-hour uptrend as we come off of a daily demand zone, that is definitely a positive sign that we could be day trading this uptrend. So what that means is you could be on a 1-minute or a 5-minute chart, kind of just day trading along with this 1-hour uptrend. But remember, the overall trend on the 4-hour chart is down, but clearly we're a little overextended here, and we could kind of just fill in this. And maybe we'll continue to react down. Who knows? But as long as we have this 4-hour downtrend, we're gonna have to monitor that for sure. But remember, the daily zone pretty much trumps the 4-hour downtrend in my opinion. So I don't blame you if you want to look for like 15-minute supply zone short trades to the downside based off the 4-hour chart. But honestly, with the daily demand and control, like I said, with clear profit margin to the upside, I see reasons, for both. I don't really see a reason to swing trade long just yet. On the back to the 4-hour chart, if we can get something like this, where maybe we blast through the downward trend line and supply leaving us at the 4-hour demand zone, then I think I'd feel comfortable getting in long. But in the meantime, I think with this 4-hour downtrend, we could be day trading shorts, especially since this daily demand is very, very tested. I'm not really putting a lot of confidence in it, although we cannot deny the move up so far. I know this seems a little bit confusing here, guys. Oh, by the way, we did catch this 4-hour supply zone trade. Finally moved 5 to 1. It took a bit. Just shows the level of patience that is required, before price hits our 5 to 1 TP. So call that one out in the daily market breakdown video. If you guys want access to these videos throughout the week, as well as the Sunday Zoom sessions where we go over strategy, video lessons, daily analysis, and much more, check out the Diamond membership. Links in the description down below. We also have lifetime access available if you do not want to pay the monthly fee. On to the forecast for gold, one of my favorite markets here. Looking at a weekly chart first, clearly demand zones being respected. Very, very beautiful uptrend. Sitting at the highs though, although we are sitting at the highs, I think we want to be trading along with this weekly uptrend. That is just my opinion. I personally prefer to trade with the trend. And as we look at the daily chart here, a lot of confusion, not confusion, but a lot of sideways action. I'm not surprised. A lot of the markets have had a lot of sideways action. We have demand down below at 1996. For those of you who've been watching for a while now, I've been calling this demand zone out for quite a long time. I'm not loving this, but I think we still could see a move off of this demand zone. So if you are bearish and you are looking for shorts, your long-term profit target would be to about 2,000 at this daily zone on gold. And then for swing trading longs, I think that is going to be our best option at that daily demand. We can look for a little confirmation trade. If you look at the 1-hour chart, not much is really going on. I mean, the sideways action is really evident here. If we break this low, that would give us that 1-hour downtrend, and then we could be feeling more comfortable to day trade down to the 2,000 area with a little bit of profit margin to be filled in here, especially if we can get some sort of supply zone up here to short with tons of profit margin to the downside. That's what I'm going to be looking for. If we break this high, that would give us a 1-hour uptrend, and then we could be day trading along. So if you're a day trader, we're really just waiting to either break above this high or this low to choose to get in long or to get in short, kind of just based off of that, right? I prefer to see the trend up. Like I said, based on this weekly trend, we want to be favoring longs, but even if we do get that downtrend on the 1-hour chart, it's one of those times where, okay, we have very, very clear profit margin down to daily demand, and maybe even lower if we break the zone on gold. So definitely a few options here on gold. Hopefully it makes sense. And remember, guys, any questions at all, do not hesitate to leave a comment down below. Alrighty, on to the forecast for the USDJPY. Looking at a weekly chart here, first, you can see we are approaching these highs again. At this point, as we come in for that second test, and it's been tested so deep before, I am actually anticipating for this supply zone to be removed, which would give us a beautiful looking trend line here on the weekly chart. So definitely something I am anticipating. Am I going to say it's going to happen 100%? No, nothing is 100%, but that is what I am anticipating. Now, I don't think we are going to get there without struggle. If you look at a daily chart here, you can clearly see we are in 2 daily supply, but clearly momentum is up. So we are just moving with force to the upside. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. All likes help because all ad revenue is donated to my local hospice. So the more likes, the more views we get on this video, which equals more revenue for donations. So we would appreciate that. And to continue on the USDJPY here, we are into a supply zone on the daily chart. It is pretty much tested almost 3/4 of the way in, so I'm not putting a lot of weight on it. We do have a supply zone above at 150.36. I think it's a decent area. If you're bearish, I think we could look for shorts here, a quick little day trade short at minimum, I think we will at least struggle to get through this supply zone. I don't think, unless we get some crazy sort of news event, we will just shoot through this supply like that. I honestly think we will struggle, maybe at least hesitate here before breaking out, or potentially moving back off of this supply, maybe back to even down to like 145.77, where then maybe the institutions could then push price back up. But all I am saying is we are about to contact this supply zone and we could see a move off of it. So we want to definitely be trading with caution as we approach like the 150.5 area. Now on the 4-hour chart, we have a pretty nice 4-hour uptrend. There's really, I mean, if we do push down to this demand zone down at 146.80, it's a decent area. We could look for longs in there. You could be looking for confirmation trades in there. If you don't know what confirmation trading is, check out my tips playlist here on YouTube where it goes over detail. I'm not going to explain it now, but you could be on a lower time frame looking for trades in this zone at 146.80, like I said. And in the meantime, you could just be day trading long as well, because when we have a 4-hour uptrend, it means you could be day trading long. And when we have a 1-hour uptrend, it means you could be day trading long, even more on lower time frames, like a 1 minute or a 5 minute, even a 15-minute chart as well. So day trading longs, like I said, pullbacks down to 4-hour demand zones are also good. And that's pretty much all I am seeing here on the USDJPY. Definitely looking pretty strong, with profit margins still up to like 150.5, like I said, at that daily supply area. All right, onto the GBPUSD. Reminder, we are pulling back into daily demand. Nice reaction off of it so far. Looking similar to the euro in my opinion, but overall, the trend is up. But, since mid-December, we've pretty much just been kind of going sideways. But we do have a daily demand zone in control. It doesn't mean we want to just be, we got to hop on long for sure, right? Because if you look at a 4-hour chart, we clearly... we are basing out for quite a long time. We broke below these lows here, pretty much stopped everyone out, kind of reacted off of some sort of demand down here. But the overall trend is down. If you don't put any faith in that daily supply zone, I think we could push up to like, I don't know what price this is. Let me see. About 1.268, maybe even 1.27, and then rally down here on the pound. I think that is the move that we could see. But with that being said, that means I'm pretty much ignoring that daily zone, which I kind of am, because it's all going to depend on the DXY, obviously. That's why it's been a little bit tricky trading at the moment. But this is the move I think we could see on the pound to kind of continue that overall move down. And then if we do get that move, like I said, then we'll probably end up breaking this daily zone here. But if we break above, then I think all signs are probably pointing to the upside, and then we'll have something new to talk about next week. But that's pretty much what I'm looking at here on GBPUSD. Alrighty, onto the USDCAD. That's the country that I am from, for all of you who do not know that. Looking at the daily chart here first, we almost hit the supply zone again. Pretty much can call this a second test at this point. Pushing down near this little drop base rally buying area here, we definitely could see some sort of move off of it. We already kind of seeing that as we push down. Are we going to get all the way back down to 1.324? What do you guys think? I'm not really sure what's going to take place here. It is tricky. All I know is we have a daily supply zone in control, so that means we could be looking for shorts. On the 4-hour chart, we do have a 4-hour uptrend, so I am kind of bearish at the moment, just based on the USDCAD chart, but I also agree with the idea of looking for longs based on this 4-hour uptrend, although it's kind of going sideways here. Again, this is why everything is kind of so tricky at the moment. Looking at the 1-hour chart, this is another problem for us day traders. I don't day trade. I don't know why I said that, but I know a lot of you guys do day trade. We are basically sitting in the middle between supply and demand. So it's extremely tricky to be trading this pair right now, especially if you are on day trading timeframes. If you want to trade, we pretty much want to wait for the outer zones, look for longs down here and potential shorts down there. You can kind of be playing both sides, even on lower time frames, looking for those confirmation entries. So a little confusing, but the USDCAD, at the end of the day, we have that daily supply in control, so we could continue to see downward pressure. And going back to the daily chart, if we can push above, if the DXY can continue to push up, then I think we could break through that supply, which would be a very, very bullish event here on the USDCAD. All right, on to the Aussie USD forecast. Looking at the daily chart here first, I thought we could pull back up to that daily supply of 0.66, but obviously another pretty big red candle the other day. Nice push down, kind of creating new lows here. We do have some sort of buying in here that could kind of pick up, maybe push to supply and then get a reaction down. Obviously, we're going to have to monitor the lower time frames to really decide what is going to take place. Are we going to push up? Are we going to continue to push down? Now, if we look at the 4-hour chart, the trend is still very, very clear in my opinion. If you are bearish, any pullback up to 0.658 could be used as a potential short trade. And, with all of this stuff up here, we could kind of play this trade up here at 0.665 if you are bearish on the Aussie. I think it's definitely a decent setup. And at any point, if you are still bearish, we have a 4-hour downtrend, so you could be on day trading time frames such as a 15-minute chart, continuing to trade with this trend. I'm not going to go down to a 15-minute chart here, but you could be doing that. Onto a 1-hour chart. Unlike, I forget what other pair, I think it was the pound or the euro or something, we broke above the high here, which actually gave us that 1-hour uptrend, which is definitely a bullish sign. We could not get this here on the Aussie as we have not removed this high just yet. But clearly we are pushing up with some momentum here. You can see I had this low marked out here, mapped out, because when that low gets removed, we'll pretty much have a 1-hour downtrend, and then shorting it is going to be even higher odds, especially on like a 1-minute, 5-minute chart. You could still be on the 15-minute chart, like I said, but once we break these lows, if we do, then the 1-minute and the 5-minute chart really start to come into play. For me now, I'm going to be watching if we can remove that high, because then at that point, I think we could definitely just kind of fill all of this in here, at least back up to 0.65. So going to be monitoring the 1-hour chart for sure to decide what takes to kind of just predict what's going to take place here on the daily chart. And like I said, a couple 4-hour supply zones above that we can potentially be looking for short trades off of if you are bearish. On to the USD Swiss. Remember, we have a weekly downtrend, although price is pushing up. Yes, I am kind of bullish the dollar, but I'm bearish the USD Swiss. It's strange, right? But it doesn't mean I have to trade bearish, but it just means that the chart is telling me to look for shorts. But because of the DXY, remember, it means that we could just blast through this and kind of just trump all this, right? But we have a weekly supply in control. It is not looking great. And why is it not looking great? Well, because we had a daily downtrend, and then that downtrend was removed here. Left us with a daily zone at 0.86. So similar to the DXY, we could get that push down to demand and then rally up, maybe back up to 0.90. But with this trend broken, momentum is up. We could be looking for longs down the USD Swiss, although the weekly trend is up. The 1-hour trend is up, in my opinion. When we can break this supply above here, any 1-hour zones there, we could be looking for longs at. It's pretty much longs all the way here on the USD Swiss, although we have that weekly downtrend. To me, this 4-hour and 1-hour trend and the break of the momentum in the daily chart is a lot of evidence to suggest we could continue to go up. Now, like I said, tomorrow, or sorry, whenever you're watching this video, on Monday, we could just shoot right down and say, oh, Kevin was so wrong. But remember, we have a daily zone down here that was responsible for removing a trend line. So it's very possible the banks or whatever need to push price down here to fill in more buy orders at 0.86 and get a move off of that. So even if we do see some red in the USD Swiss, remember, with this daily zone in control, we want to wait to see what happens there. And if this zone gets removed, okay, then at that point, I think we got to respect that weekly downtrend, and that's enough evidence for me to suggest we're probably going to break the lows. So it's all going to really revolve around this daily zone. And like I said, if we continue to have the 4-hour and 1-hour uptrend, you could be day trading long. On to crude oil. Last but not least, we are into a supply zone. If you guys remember, we had a demand zone after we broke the downward trend line. So very similar to the USD Swiss, this is what could happen. We could break the zone, kind of just go sideways for a bit. So it is possible. This supply was created off of this supply, so it's not the highest odds, although it is a supply zone. We definitely could see a move off of this zone to it, maybe even down, at least down to 72, 71, even $70 a barrel here on crude oil. So I don't blame you if you want to be looking for shorts. And if you want to look for shorts, what I'd be doing at a bare minimum, well, first of all, looking at the 4-hour chart, we do have a 4-hour supply zone in control, but as you can see, we caught this trade from last week, so that trade's already kind of worked out. So really no reason to be trading short at that supply zone based off of that. The problem with this though, I mean, look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this. If we can remove this right here, I'm going to go ahead and make this a confirmation zone. If we can remove this 1 hour demand zone right there, and let's say we have a nice 1 hour supply, you could be looking for shorts to trade at least down to like 74.20. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And why are we doing this? Well, it's because the supply is in control and we want to look for confirmation. Without going into too much detail, this is what confirmation is when we remove opposing zones, leaving us with another zone that we could look to short. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And why this zone? Well, because clearly it's holding up price. If we can remove that, that'll be significant, and then we can look for shorts. So until then, I am not bullish on oil. Look, if you're bullish on oil, I get it. I wouldn't even consider going in long unless we push down to 74.09, and then at that point, I think we could look for longs. But in the meantime, like I said, we want to see what happens around that 1 hour demand zone. That's what I'm going to be looking for, to see if that can get removed. To repeat, just to summarize, that 1 hour confirmation as we come off of this daily supply to potentially get a move like that. And if you guys want to watch the full length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.